Israel, while they may have, a democratic society in which the people get their health care and their education and a living wage and all that. However, the income inequality, the wealth gap in Israel is just as preposterous as it is in the United States. So the people that have the wealth are going around to other parts of the world buying up resources. One of those places now in Africa happens to be Kenya. Kenya is one of those countries where they are buying up as much farmland as they could get their hands on. And what we've noticed is that they have been following a very similar pattern, which is whichever is considered a third world country, we are going to go and bribe them so that we can take over their country in terms of control of the resources.
Well, that's one method. And what's the other method they employ?
Violence.
Well, setting fires. They go around and set wildfires and then get discounts on the land. And these people are like a succubus. Like they need to be put down.
Israel deploys world first mobile climate lab in Kenya in tackle Africa's data blind spot. Ooh, data blind spot. This is a setup for what's going to be the big story.
Wait a second. Why does the genocide entity, why are they able to deploy anything in Kenya? Like, what is their business in Kenya?
Israel has deployed what is believed to be the world's first mobile climate mobile climate laboratory in Kenya, in a move aimed at addressing long-standing gaps in Africa's climate data and improving the accuracy of environmental decision-making across the continent.
Okay, so the genocide entity does not do anything out of its kindness, right? Everything that it does is a self-serving purpose.
Correct.
So again, I'm curious, what is their purpose of and I'm going to say this in quotes, a climate lab? What exactly is a climate lab? What does that even mean? Are you putting shit in the clouds like you do here? Are you seeding their clouds and putting shit up in the sky? I mean, like, what are you doing in your mobile lab?
Let's keep going.
Because they're not there to help the Kenyans. I can promise you that.
Well,
they
Jen,
might have a million reasons. None of them is to help the Kenyans.
Israel has deployed a mobile climate laboratory in Kenya to address Africa's longstanding deficit in climate data. The facility, hosted at ILRI's Kapiti site, is operated by the Weizmann Institute of Science. Scientists say the project, Scientists say the project will improve climate modeling by providing critical ground-based measurements. The initiative is expected to expand across Africa over the next 3 years. Of course, do business with the genocidal entity.
I need to look that up.
You know what? Colin, I'm going to call an audible. Pull the other article up.
Let's read it. Talking about?
Let's read it from the Times of Israel. Let's read it from their perspective, because that's the more important one.
I need to know about this thing.
Let's show the token. Let's show the token real quick. Paulie Magor Mugu. Kenya is ready for business. Are you ready to move?
Oh my God.
For Israeli companies exploring new markets, timing is often the hardest call to make. Move too early and you absorb the risk. Move too late and the opportunity is already taken. For firms facing increasingly competitive and saturated traditional markets, the question is no longer whether to expand, but where and how fast. Right now, Kenya presents a compelling scenario, one where much of the groundwork needed to be for successful foreign investment has already been laid. This was the clear takeaway from last week's Israel-Kenya business webinar, which brought together policymakers, investors, and companies with experience on the ground. The message was not simply that Kenya holds potential. It was the conditions for entry, regulatory, economic, and operational are already in place. Hosted by the Israel-Africa Relations Institute. Again, corruption at its finest. In particular, in partnership with the newly established Israel-Kenya Business Forum, the session offered something especially valuable, a clear sense of how Israeli firms can move from interest to execution now. Jen, would you like to take a crack at this?
I am just so disgusted by this.
Absolutely.
And in general, any coalition or organization that has the name of the genocidal entity in it, whatever entity is on the other side of that, whether it's Kenya or whoever else will be in an agreement with them, it's filthy and disgusting. Because any entity that would sign an agreement with a genocidal entity is also a filthy and disgusting entity. See, that's how that works out. For Israeli companies, Kenya is best understood not simply as a destination, but as a launch pad.
Well, of course I would say that. Colin,
scroll from, I think, okay. From the capital city of Nairobi, businesses can access a regional market of roughly 450 million people across East Africa. Goods move through established ports, teams connect via multiple international airports, and transactions are supported by one of the continent's most advanced financial ecosystems. This positioning is deliberate. Kenya has steadily built itself into a regional hub, combining economic stability, infrastructure, and connectivity. For Zio firms, the motto may feel familiar. Enter a central node, establish a foothold, and scale outward. They say this like it's a good thing.
There is a very, very, very small portion of the population that benefits from things like this.
In Kenya, you mean?
Yeah, well, anywhere,
yeah,
but
no, they
Kenya
don't.
especially. But a place like Kenya,
yeah,
a black country, are you crazy? They get nothing. This is all for this. If you want to know what white colonialism looks like in real time, this is exactly what they're going to do to Kenya. Exactly what they're going to do. And it's all bribery, all of it.
What emerged clearly from the discussion is that Israeli innovation is arriving exactly at the right moment. No, it's not. In agriculture, the need is immediate. Climate pressure and population growth are driving demand for more efficient food production. Okay, this is where I just can't even read this anymore, because if the genocidal entity was so good at agriculture, then why are all of its plants in such horrid shape? Why are they having fires because of non-indigenous species of trees? Like, they are not in good shape. They don't know how to do anything.
The whole point of this is that they see that Kenya, once again, another, resource-rich country, a fairly primitive culture that isn't driven by capitalism, and they see an opportunity to make a mark. They also see an opportunity to continue to move their resources outside of Israel and possibly outside the United States, because they realize that they are absolutely unequivocally despised. They are basically becoming, martyrs, if you will, in so many respects, that people are never going to want to deal with them. They are going to be completely removed.
Martyrs? They're not martyrs. They
no,
don't
I think the wrong word. I think
no, pariahs.
pariahs.
But I will say pariahs.
Yes, pariahs.
This Correct. Is, yeah, the problem. The problem with this whole scenario is that the people of Kenya are only going to get screwed, right? Like nothing good is going to be in it for them. Obviously, their very elite class will benefit from whatever financial deals they made and are carrying out to host the genocidal entity, immigrants, or whatever you want to call them. expats,
Well, this is also why,
refugees.
well, the thing that you said, which I think is 100% correct, is that they might be able to, pay off these governments. And we're going to, later in the show, we're going to get to Panama and Costa Rica. But even if they buy off these governments, the people are not going to just break bread with them. Their
No,
reputation is pretty sound at this point. People understand what they're dealing with when they're dealing with Israelis.
they don't want them. By the way, what I wanted to say to you is, you know that Nairobi is an extremely cosmopolitan urban city. And I feel like when we say primitive, or the concept of countries that are less developed than us, we're embarrassing.
Oh, sure.
We don't, I mean, we're still transporting coal with fossil fuel on highways that haven't been renovated in 60 years.